Nice. We are live. Hello, Support Kings. We're here from supportintimacy.com and redefining-intimacy.com, where adults come to develop an empowered relationship with their emotional intimacy and have more confidence, self-esteem, and peaceful well-being for those mutually satisfying relationships. And welcome to our live today. Today we are having an intimate conversation, I call them, and client spotlight with our guest, Julie Singer, who is on the other end right now, being with her little one, who also seems to always want to join us on these live conversations. So I'm going to hand it over to Julie. Julie, tell us a little bit about where you live, where you're from, who you are, and what you're up to in the world a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry. Hi, my name is Julie Singer, and I live in Vancouver, BC, Canada. And what am I up to in the world? I'm up to chasing after this little one here, just 10 months yesterday. So she's crawling and climbing stairs and curious about everything. And yeah, that's keeping me very busy these days.
Well, thanks for being with us, and thanks for taking the time. And thank you, Ashlyn, for allowing Mom to come take the time with us. And so today we're exploring the outcome and the benefits of intimacy and accountability, and all pertaining to the redefining intimacy system. And one of the things that popped into my mind, as I do have questions here by my side that I want to explore with you, Julie, is going straight into what does it look like in your world, intimacy as a mother? Yeah.
Yeah. Intimacy is definitely a different, I've really, how do I want to say this? I guess I've redefined my relationship to intimacy. So for intimacy for me now is really like even just taking a second and really tuning into what I need in the moment. And, often it's just a centering breath or, just really wanting to be present for Ashlyn. So, and for myself in those moments. So just, I find, as a mom, intimacy is so much more vast and expansive maybe than what I understood intimacy to be before.
Yeah. Big point and a big topic. And I know I feel very much in relationship with that as well when I talk about like redefining intimacy, right? It's so often in life we talk about, or we say intimacy, and I know for me, people, sexuality, and and when we can expand that idea of intimacy, what I'm hearing is it creates more present awareness, more connection with your own body, with your own emotional body, with Ashlyn, right, with the people around you and their needs. And so I'm curious, when you came in, because I know you joined the Redefining Intimacy program this summer with us, and I'm curious, what was your why at that time, this time of your life of joining that?
Yeah. Well, my initial why was thinking it would be a really great opportunity for Mark, my partner, and Ashlyn's dad to just have something to kind of help reconnect us together after many sleepless nights and a lot of focus on Ashlyn rather than ourselves or our relationship. So that was kind of my initial motivation or inspiration. And as I took the course and started uncovering things, can you hear that paper crinkling, or is that okay?
It's fine. Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Ashlyn. It became more about really developing a deeper relationship with myself, so I can be the best mom I can be and be really present for her, and lead by example. As you know, I didn't really realize that was so important to me as a mom. Yeah, so I would say.
Yeah. So leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what I'm sensing right now from you is like I sense a lot of presence from you right now. And to me, that's a big piece of leading by example. Do you feel that?
Yeah, I definitely feel there's a more centered calm. I feel like I've got some really great tools and techniques now for identifying, feelings and being able to communicate in a different way. And also just like acknowledging what my needs are, and clearly being able to make requests and communicate those to myself and to others when that's needed or called for, or yeah.
Yeah. So I have a little bit of an in, right? Because I've worked with you and I received a lot of your weekly discovery processes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that stood out for me that I want to kind of go into right now is your relationship with your family,
Mm-hmm.
because it really impressed me to witness your diving into more, I'll call it emotional intimacy, but also acknowledging your needs within your family dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if you could share a little bit with us about, I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to say if you can share your journey, one component of that journey around communication, the challenges and what you applied, and what was the outcome.
Yeah. So I have a large blended family, with lots of, different, lots of people involved, stepbrothers and stepsisters and half sisters, and sorry, I'm just gonna move that. Hey, 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 hey. Just give it a moment, okay? And I found that particularly with my dad, I was finding that I was just having a hard time kind of setting some boundaries in terms of, conversations I wanted to have. I was feeling some fear about speaking out, and just setting some clear boundaries in terms of what I was willing to allow in. I found that there was a lot of kind of gossip going around in my family, and I found it hard to be around, but I often, I think my role often in the family has been to just listen to everyone and try and be a bit of a peacekeeper. So it was really interesting to just start to pay attention to how I was feeling, and how I wanted to kind of change that dynamic, and being able to identify that and then ask for what I needed, and have some what felt like really edgy conversations that I hadn't had before. And yeah, it worked out well. I felt, there was some really great tools that I was able to practice, and really like looking at the situation, imagining how the other person was feeling and what was kind of their motivation. And sorry. Little wild child here.
Yes. Hi, Ashlyn.
Okay. Let me just see. I might see if she'll go down. Hey. Hey, who's that in the mirror? Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, so what was the outcome? I'm hearing that you dove into some pretty edgy conversations. And I'm curious if you can share what was the outcome for you, like in your body and your relationship, maybe with your parents.
um, with the outcome or during the process?
Yes, during the process and the outcome for you, like how did you feel different?
During the process, there was definitely a feeling of fear, of anxiety around speaking up, because it's just there had been these patterns of relating that had never, it almost seemed like there was such an ingrained way of relating. So there's definitely some fear and anxiety moving into those conversations. But once I was in the conversation, I felt like I had the tools to really approach it in a more loving and kind way. So I think the fear was like, oh, it's going to be not well received. It's, they're going to be defensive. But because I was able to make a request in a really kind, loving way, I think it was well received. And just having that experience kind of opened up another possibility. And I definitely feel like there's it's like there's a new possibility now. So it feels a lot easier if this comes up again, and I feel like it's not going to be just a one conversation. It's like getting more practice, just kindly speaking about my boundaries and my requests. Yeah, it feels good. It feels empowering to like feel, just to feel like I have that ability now.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for you listening in, it's, just pulling out of what Julie just shared is that it can feel difficult, right? It's not even that, I don't believe that it's about that the fear or the challenges or that, the fear and the tightness or not even the resistance isn't ever going to be there, but these skills are learnable. And I know particularly with the work that we do in the Redefining Intimacy, we focus on working with the nervous system, right? Using breath work to kind of shift more of the patterns somatically in our system, and then learning these skills from that place so we can take these baby steps into right our everyday experiences, which here, right, Julie, you're sharing about your parents, you shared about the presence and being an example with Ashland and in your relationship. And I believe that's what it's about. It's how can we just do our own work to be accountable, because what I'm hearing is accountability, like a lot of accountability from what you're sharing. And it doesn't mean the stuff's not going to come up, right? And how can we just be with that and then take those steps and apply these skills in our everyday situation? So thank you for doing that. And I acknowledge you because one of the things that I took away, and I've shared this with you before,
Mm.
is one of the things I took away from your weekly self discoveries that you sent me was how deep you went.
Mm.
Like my interpretation was there's so much commitment and willingness to I call it unpacking, right? To unpack the situation, right? And what that might look like for in the world for people is right. We can easily go to blame somebody,
Mm-hmm.
which would be the surface. It would be the initial, but then it's like, okay, I know I'm going to sit back and I'm going to self inquire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to check in like, okay, so what's happening in my own body? What are my beliefs? What are my stories? What's my nervous system doing? Is this true?
Mm-hmm.
What might the other person be feeling? Right. And I saw that. So thank you for that, for
Mm.
you. That was beautiful to witness.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The last piece that I want to ask is if there any like specific, I'm diving into like the intrinsic and extrinsic benefits
Mm.
that we take away from this work, and right, the intrinsic, like what were some of the maybe two words of a felt sense you're like, yeah, I took this away intrinsically.
Hmm. Feels like a peaceful confidence.
Yeah, like that peaceful confidence.
A peaceful confidence that I can trust myself and that I have the tools and no one else is responsible.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. What about extrinsic? Like how would feeling that in your body, realizing that no one else is responsible, that you have this peace in the center, how does that then impact extrinsically? What has that given you?
Hmm. Hmm. It's um, I guess that confidence also really translates out in the external world too, because I feel more maybe willing to put myself in situations that feel, a little edgy or not as comfortable, or willing to maybe willing to be more vulnerable and honest in situations where before I would have held back. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing those pieces. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you had any final words, not that you need to, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Yeah.
if you do, if there's anything else that's coming through you that you're just like, I want to share this before we come to a close of our conversation today.
Um, yeah, I just really, I don't think I realized how maybe like stimulated, like it's like I feel like I've always been kind of searching for this like peace and this grounded centerness, and it's often felt really kind of elusive. And through this work, I feel like I've been able to get in touch with myself more. I feel like there's a whole new freedom with really just taking responsibility for my feelings. That was a big aha for me. Really realizing that, when I'm triggered, it's not their fault kind of thing, or they don't need to make it right. Like I can't, like it's not fair for me to blame so and so for something, which has never been modeled for me in my family of origin or growing up. So it's been really this interesting and exciting opportunity. And now it's like I can get more curious when something does come up rather than automatically going to that place of blame. So that's been really exciting, and it just feels like I feel safer in my body because I know I have tools to, help just calm things down. And it's been really helpful just to have that contemplation question that you gave me, like, what does my nervous system need right now? And really acknowledging that, it doesn't matter. No one else has to help my nervous system calm down. I have everything I need to make that happen. And it's taking a step back, and it's maybe coming back to a conversation, not being afraid to step away, and and just taking care of myself, which is such a revolutionary thing right now, because it's like I've been so used to taking care of a little being. So it feels really good to know that I just have tools to prioritize myself that feel really healthy and supportive.
Thank you. Those are some big pieces. Like I like the modeling piece, the what is my nervous system needing right now? And for those listening, and right, it's rare that we have that modeling of how to approach difficult situations and be accountable, especially when we're in the midst of a trigger. It can turn. I'm going to say one of the things I'm witnessing in the world, and closely I've noticed, is a lot of violence. And what we don't define even as violence is violent languaging and attacking with our words, and seeing it so common in the world. And because that's what we've had modeled
Totally.
throughout our life. And so, yeah, the importance of the modeling and just asking, and I'm going to repeat that question again that you said that I had asked you a while back. It's just like, yeah, what does my nervous system need right now? And for those listening, just if they were to take something away today from this conversation, one piece that would be, to me, a very important piece is every day, and in the midst of making a decision or in a difficult conversation or a trigger, asking, right, what does my nervous system need right now? Excuse me. And giving ourselves permission that often in the midst of a trigger or upset, we feel frantic and we feel urgency in our body. But if we can remember to just maybe pause and breathe and realize the world's not going to end if I don't take action right now, versus stepping back and allowing the nervous system to get what it needs. And then, what you're exempling to us here, Julie, right now is doing that, and then having those difficult conversations from this place of more centered. It doesn't mean one doesn't feel angry or upset, but being able to talk about, I feel angry from a place of love. and that's what I'm working on getting across with humanity, is that we can feel our anger or upset or even disagreements and have those conversations from a place of accountability and love. So, yeah.
And it feels so much more loving to ourselves when we can be in that place, like rather than forcing ourselves to like push through when things do feel frantic. It's like, actually the really loving, kind thing is to go breathe and step back, and then I can come from that place of love and be there present with someone else and express my feelings and express my anger.
Yes. And that truly gets us what we want, right? That
Right.
gives us ultimately what we want versus fighting for what we want. So
Yeah.
thank you. And thank you for being here today and sharing your time. And Ashlyn, we give thanks for Ashlyn as well. And for you listening, I want to extend an invitation. And so we pivoted to online this summer, and the next opening is starting, I believe it's November 14th. I always forget the date. So I want to invite you into our 10-week online course, Redefining Intimacy. If you're looking to develop these skills, to develop this sense of peaceful comfortability and trust in yourself, so you can have more self-esteem and confidence and trust in those relationships around you. And we're bringing in international group, which is so lovely. If you're wanting information from this video, you can either send me, go ahead and private message me wherever you're seeing this video at. You can also come to the website, which is redefining-intimacy.com, and just sign up to have a free discovery call with me. And that way we can talk about, is this even a fit for what you need right now in your life? So thank you for listening in. And again, thank you, Julie. And I'm wishing everyone a wonderful day.